I do want to talk about Pete Rose because anytime you talk about sports betting or gambling, he comes up in conversation. Um, and, he's been out of the game for 30, 40 years now. It doesn't look like anything will be changing on that front. It looks like he will be permanently, I guess, banned from baseball. But John, I'll go to you first on this one. What is your take on his situation, Pete Rose, and ultimately we're going to be answering the question: should he be in the Hall of Fame?
Oh man, that's a hard one. In terms of the black and white, rule, Pete Rose did what he did. He on top of other stuff, but in terms of sports betting, he did what he did. I read the blurb that for 2 years he was doing it while managing and playing. It. Fact of the matter is, by the rule and the letter of the law, which we can't make exceptions for, which we stated, Pete Rose should not be in baseball. He should not be affiliated with baseball um, and the Hall of Fame. In terms of his overall playing ability, he is certainly Hall of Fame worthy in terms of him playing. However, he violated one of MLB's top rules, so it's hard for me to say one way or the other. You know, uh, Good old Charlie Hustle, you know, in more ways than one, uh, definitely definitely put his mark on the game. Let's put it that
And I mean, you mentioned he was doing this while he was managing and while he was playing, which I think is where it gets a little uh dicey, right? But
especially as a
again,
manager.
as you said, right, and I believe he has stated time and time again that he was betting on his team to win, but um, I'm sure there's proof of that one way or another, but to me, I mean, that's you can't do that either way. And I think from the side of, as you said, talent wise, obviously he makes it in a heartbeat. But Will, what is your thought on Pete Rose and his Hall of Fame? I don't want to say campaign, but should he be in the Hall of Fame?
The tricky part is how I'm trying to define in my head kicking out of baseball because part of me wants I really want to say that I mean he broke the rules black and white plain as that, so therefore the rule for betting in baseball is you're kicked out of baseball. But the part of it that I start to then question is, does that mean you basically remove him from baseball history, kind of? Because that's,
Right.
in a sense, kind of what baseball has done, is that it's not just now we're kicking him out of baseball, he can't be associated with it. It's that we're kicking him out of baseball and everything he's done, aside from the fact that just the record books will read that he had so many hits and this was his career and blah, blah, blah. That they're basically trying to acknowledge anything about him. And that is the part that I feel like is not tech. I don't feel like should 100% be true, because I think about like the steroid era now and those players, because a lot of those players are in the middle or have just finished or ended potential Hall of Fame campaigns. And there's a huge debate about them. And those types of players are not banned from baseball, but what they took was illegal and did impact games in that way. You could argue negatively, whereas in Pete Rose's situation, as far as I'm aware of, everything he did not involve tossing a game. So if you want to remove Pete Rose from baseball and he's not allowed to show up to any baseball games, which I know is not true considering the Phillies had him a year or two ago and celebrating the anniversary of the 1980 World Series team. And then, but if you want to remove him, that he can't go to any baseball events, he can't go on any broadcasts or anything or whatever you want to claim as kicking him out of baseball, fine. But I feel like you can't then immediately reject everything that he did prior to then, because it happened, it's part of history, and it is what it is. Now, that's in the end not going to change, I think, vote getters' minds in regards of bringing him into the Hall, but I do think there needs to be that separation of he's kicked out of baseball, he's not allowed to come back into baseball, whatever that term truly means. But he did still do what he did, and therefore there should be some recognition as to the type of career he did do. You just don't need to get him involved in it.
Does that narrative change though if so like obviously we know why he got banned, but on a technicality he signed that he would be banned from baseball, but he didn't get banned from baseball because of betting. If that makes sense, like if you look into it, he signed his life away per se in baseball, but he didn't get like convicted. Does that change the narrative of like, okay, well now there's leadway for us to put him back in baseball, and I don't want to have a full conversation on this now because it's going to come up in a later podcast, but you were talking about the steroid era, right? And at the time they were not illegal until after it had happened. But it's still tainted because of everything I guess we know now and all these history stuff and blah blah. Is that technicality, I guess, like give him a little bit of a pass? I don't know exactly what I'm trying to ask, to be honest, but like I just feel like
I still think that blatantly in the end is he broke the rule.
yeah.
So therefore, regardless of what he signed or not, he should be kicked out of baseball. Then the question just still simply is that remove him completely, basically, or is that just removing him from the point of suspension onward, not ignoring what he's done and should be recognized for what he's done?
Right. And then like the other thing to that too is I think there was kind of a range of like what years he had done it. Like if they were to reinstate him, do you think, or not even if they were to reinstate them, do you think that like those years that they have proof that he bet should be erased and then he could still get into the Hall of Fame, or should it just be voided completely? Because this guy had a great career, and I think like again, you can't take away his talent. It's just that the off the
You
field
can't
stuff.
erase anything. Best you can do is put an asterisk mark. I know that's part of the debate when it comes to the steroid people. Is you want to say like, I know people have very strong opinions about Barry Bonds. If you want to say Barry Bonds is the home run king shirt, there's people that'll say yes, but they want to put an asterisk next to it because he did it steroid era. You want to put Pete Rose in his career stat line that he did X, Y, and Z, and then you want to take that whatever window period at the end and say was known for betting. You can do that, but you should
Yeah.
not erase it because it's happened.
Right. Again, it's all the stuff he's done, and not that I'm agreeing that he should be in the Hall of Fame. It just I'm almost playing a little bit of devil's advocate because he was so good, and like yes, he was betting on games, but he wasn't, betting against himself per se. It was more of him. He was betting, for his team, mostly, and it's not. If it was the other way around, it's like, all right, I'm gonna bet that I get 4 strikeouts today, and he goes up there and strikes out 4 times. That's one thing, but like he's out there, he's still producing. I agree, you can't really go into a gray area with that, but it's really interesting because he really did dominate baseball for a long time with just how many hits he's had. I don't think there's a player within like 1,000
The
that played
closest you
after
could say
him.
is Ichiro because of
Yeah,
Ichiro's
which
time in the
yeah,
MLB and in Japan.
and I think Jeter was like 3,500 ish or something close to that. So it's
I
insane
didn't
what he
realize
was
his home
able to
runs were
do.
that low.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
Honestly,
he
the
wasn't a home run hitter. He was a
he was not
slap
a
shot
home
guy.
run hitter. Yeah,
By the way, kind of off topic, but I was reading about him like when Ohio got sports betting, and apparently he made it very publicly known that he was going to be betting when that became legal.
Yeah,
To
first person
what
in
do you have?
line.
What
Ohio.
did he have to
First.
lose?
Yeah,
What did he have to
exactly.
lose?
I don't know. I think ultimately for me, I don't. I agree. He shouldn't be in. It is a
I
little
have a
bit
question
strange
for
to me
you.
though. Okay.
I have a question for you, Ty, and Will. What about shoeless Joe Jackson? In the World Series that he was a part of for throwing, he batted 375 with 12 hits, one home run, uh, and three doubles. In 32 at bats. His stats say, was he trying to throw it? You get into that, but that that's my next question is, if we're talking about Pete Rose with this, what about shoeless Joe?
I mean, it's interesting because of like those stats, but I guess my perception of it is still that team was trying to lose or they were throwing it, and we know that factually. I don't think you can say the
8
same
players
for
on
Pete
that team.
Rose.
Let's be
Right.
clear here.
Right. But like as much as I hate to say it, it's almost like guilty by association because you just don't know what's happening there. But with Pete Rose again, I don't think he wasn't betting to throw games. It seems like again, it was more betting for his team. So I think it's a little bit different than that. So for me to answer your question, no, I do not think he should get in on that merit.
My main thing I can think of is if he took the bets, and regardless of what his actions did, then no. If he didn't take any money or any bet money and knew about it and didn't say anything, I would feel like in that case he knew about it, but he didn't actually bet, so then he should be allowed.
He didn't actually bet.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
didn't.
I
They
know
did
he's
not
been
place the
kind of
bets. It was that the gamblers like wanted them to fix the World Series. Just to give
mhm.
a brief history here, wanted them to fix the World Series. They I would have to look up the exact number as to what they actually received, but what they were promised was not what they received. So if you
Mm.
give me a second here, I can give a better answer.
Amazing.
I wasn't
I
prepared for
mean,
the music there.
again, like as much as I kind of say what I'm saying about Pete Rose, if it happens, you can't be gray. It can't be the gray zone with this. Like it has to be black and white. If it happens in any capacity, you do just have to shut it down. I just find it a little bit funny that they like all these steroid users, right? And they did it for a while, but I feel like now they're kind of phasing them back into the picture. But like they really tried to erase Pete Rose, if that makes sense. Like it's like almost trying not to acknowledge that he ever even played. And for the steroid users, I feel like that was happening for a little bit, but I think now like they're back in. Um, like you're saying, I know a little bit different, but you're saying like an MLB The Show, the video game, their cards are coming in and stuff. So it just feels like they like have just completely tried to erase Pete Rose, and guys that also did things to affect the integrity of the game are just like, well, these guys aren't as bad, so like we'll let them back in. But what
So,
are you gonna do?
according to Google, it says that the Black Sox received 5,000 each, except for Chip Gandil, who received it's 35,000. Yep, 35,000.
He didn't
The
throw
equivalent
the
of the
game as hard.
5,000. No, he threw it more. No, he was kind of the mastermind of it for the team. The 5,000 equivalent today is 88 grand. The for Chip Gandil, it's 615,000 is the equivalent today. So just for a little bit of inflation context there, but yeah,
Right.
in terms of
Yeah.
all the details there, yeah.
And I think we'll kind of end it on that note. I think uh, sports betting, I think now is good for the business of baseball. I think obviously if you're a player, as Will said, you are an absolute moron if you indulge in that, even though it might be very tempting. What are you risking that for? And yeah, I think we all kind of agree. Pete Rose, although the hits speak for themselves, you just can't put a guy in that broke that line that again has been so prevalent in the MLB So under there, Bobby, I'm actually going to throw it to you because I completely forgot that I was supposed to throw it to you at the beginning of the show. If you're ready for whatever, I don't even know what the surprise is. So
Yeah,
Ooh,
I
surprise.
listen, man. Listen, this is something that I found incredibly interesting, and it's not necessarily baseball related, but it's at least somewhat close. I don't know if you guys saw today, but this right here happened. The U.S.
Yes.
has stunned Pakistan
oh yeah,
in the men's T20
Yes.
Cricket World Cup. Now, I couldn't I realized I cut to the wrong 3 cam, but sorry about that. I completely omitted John for some reason. So
What I do? Wow.
now I don't know the rankings at all. I couldn't tell you a damn thing about cricket. I know our boy John Boy, somebody we talk about all the time on this on the show. Does some breakdowns of these things of some cricket games every once in a while, because there is a lot of similarity between this game and baseball for sure, right? But I think it is hilarious that the U.S., who I don't like, my understanding is like one of their top players is like a guy who works for Oracle. Like there's no full-time players on the U.S. But Pakistan like has been a top player. Like my understanding is it's them in India who have like crushed international competition in cricket for as long as I can remember. But a US apparently stunned them in the World Cup today. So USA, what the fuck is a kilometer? Go Patriots.
I wouldn't know, and I still really don't, a lick of cricket if it wasn't for John Boy. I really the only reason I even know a little bit about it is because of John Boy breakdowns. But having never seen a cricket paddle, a cricket field, a cricket ball in my life,
I believe it's called
many
a cricket
other
pitch.
a cricket pitch, whatever, anything cricket related, I can guarantee that like 97% of Americans probably haven't either, and we're out here upsetting a world power in cricket, and it's awesome. Obviously, congratulations to those guys who have worked very hard on this, and yeah, I like to
While not being full timers. Well, not
Yeah.
being full timers, by the way.
USA,
I mean, I would
coming.
love to know. I didn't get time to read into this. First of all, I want to find the clip of the game ending. Like, I gotta see what that elation looked like.
I was gonna say,
because
how
I
many
saw
years
some
till we get the
pictures of
Disney movie?
fans. Dude, I know, right?
You believe in
It's gonna be
miracles?
Miracle
Yeah.
2.
Right.
You
Please,
heard of
I'm
Miracle
begging,
on
dude.
Ice.
Now
Now
here's
Here's
Miracle on the
Miracle on the wickets.
on the cricket pitch. Yeah, make sure
Where's
you
I'm
say it
trying
like
to
that.
find. There's a great like small breakdown of cricket, and maybe you guys can follow. Let me find it real quick. I gotta find it briefly. There is
All I know is that cricket is one of those sports that's played everywhere else. It's not really played here in the U.S. So...
I also love that. I don't know if Will, you probably haven't seen it because you're not a Twitter guy, but there's been like a debate recently in the cricket and baseball circuit of basically like both sports dissing each other, because it's like,
That's always
how-
been a thing.
no, but like recently it's been like everybody's talking about it. It's like, imagine if a cricket player seen Paul Skeens throw 102 down the pipe. How would they'd have a heart attack if they seen that? And cricket players are like, well, have you seen this shit? Like, you think Shohei Ohtani could do that? It's just funny. And that's actually perfect timing for this topic, because that's all I've been seeing on my timeline for some reason.
I will
Like-
say this: cricket is kind of wild in terms of you can hit it anywhere, and if somebody
Yeah.
catches it, you're out. But like, and if they don't, you just keep
Man.
running back and forth. Keep going. Just do suicides.
Bobby and I have talked about, like, dude, if you tune into, for whatever reason, if you tune into a cricket broadcast,
dude.
just look at the graphics. You'll be so confused from the rip. It's
Mhm.
like you see all these numbers, all these names. It's like, what am I looking at?
Well,
Like,
there's a ton of
Oh,
positions. So,
yeah, and it's just like, oh, they need 179 runs to win. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what sense does that make? Like, and it's like they got like, oh, there's like 70 balls left. I'm like, dude,
7.
I'm so lost. Like 7. You look at like just tune into a cricket broadcast. I'm telling you, for like 10 seconds, and you'll be mind blown about how confused you are.
Sure, I'll check my
Like,
local
it's actually-
BBC
There
network
we go.
for
Yeah,
the
funnily
next.
Dude, all you
enough,
need to do is
ESPN.
ESPN Plus has it. Funnily enough.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
So,
yeah, dude, cricket
you know-
on ESPN. Dude, I think I told Tyler this at one point. There was like a point where I don't know if it was like the World Cup or something for cricket. I forget what it was. Holy shit, did ESPN Plus push cricket mad hard for a few months before like in the start of the year. I swear to God, like every time I'm on ESPN Plus, and I was just looking for like FA Cup matches, stuff like that, and then I go on the front and it's just cricket. My entire ESPN Plus homepage was cricket. It was it was something else for a while. Oh, I did find a quick explainer. If anybody wants to take a gander at this.
Oh boy, are we getting copyrighted?
No,
Yeah, we
you're
are getting
absolutely-
copyrighted, but this clip is too funny.
Turn it up.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'll sound it over.
Cover point, long on, square leg, deep extra cover, and 2 short legs.
What the hell is he talking about?
Oh, it's cricket. Marvellous game, really. You see, the bowler hurls the ball towards the batsman who tries to play away a fine leg. He endeavours to score by dashing between the creases, provided the wicket-keeper hasn't whipped his bails off, of course.
Anybody get
So you
What?
guys understand cricket now, right?
No,
So
absolutely.
what I
You guys
just
get
heard
that
was the guy behind the wickets can hit the batter. Is that what he
Something
just
like,
said?
bro. There again, John Boy has a lot better breakdowns. At some point, I need to go like rewatch because like I watched them, but I've completely forgotten. And anytime I like watch like an actual
Oh,
cricket match,
yeah.
I
Hold
still
on,
have
hold
no
on.
idea.
Guys, you
dude.
know what I just heard? I just heard was U.S. is making a comeback into world sports. First,
That's what I'm
it's cricket.
hearing.
Next, it's
That's
rugby.
what I'm hearing.
After that, we're coming for soccer.
Yeah, we're winning
Not
the
football.
2028.
Curling.
We're coming
We're-
for
How are we
soccer.
curling? Or polo?
We're winning the.
World Cup.
No,
Yeah.
we're winning Euros. We can't even do that, but we're winning it anyway. Like,
Oh, God.
Yeah, good times. If you have nothing better to do on a Saturday at like 5 a.m. and you want to watch some cricket, ESPN Plus is the place to be.
Hey, I got the
Hey,
London
dude,
series
I'm
coming
telling you.
up.
And
Yeah.
play some bets.
I wonder if they have a betting scandal in cricket. I mean, it could
Cricket
happen.
betting scandals. Oh boy.
That'll be the next
I'm gonna look
podcast.
that one up.
We're gonna need like 2 months to research everything about the sport, and we'll still be confused, but it's coming. That is all for us here on Big League Breakdowns. A little bit of a wow, under an hour. I don't think that's happened yet. Follow us.
Hold on.
Look
I
at
got
our
it.
new
I got
graphic.
it. Okay, hold on. I got it. Cricket
Get it
has
again.
had a number of controversies relating to players being involved in betting aspects of the game. In particular, numerous players have been approached by bookmakers and bribed to throw matches. Aspects of matches,
Actually-
ergo the toss, or provide
We
other
need a whole
information.
episode on the history of betting in all sports.
I'm pretty sure I actually watched a documentary on cricket and sports, but I don't know why, but I think I did. Forgot about that.
Random
Follow us
documentary.
on Twitter at BL_breakdowns and everything else, essentially. You see Instagram. Look at our nice new graphic. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Big League Breakdowns. Check our description for
Binoculars
all
to
your
read it.
audio. You do, but it's okay. All of our audio spots as well, Spotify and a bunch of other great stuff. But that is all for us here for episode 17. We will see you next time.